All we do is Microsoft SQL Server. Many of our DBAs have 20 to 30 years of experience with SQL Server. They specialize in performance tuning, storage and virtualization, replication, availability groups, corruption repair, and more. We've seen it all, and you get to benefit from it. Each customer is assigned a team of 3 or 4 DBAs so that there is always coverage and collaboration. We design a plan to meet your specific needs. And lastly, we utilize state-of-the-art tools at no extra cost to you to monitor your environment continuously. We offer SQL Server managed services so that you can focus on your business while we optimize and maintain your SQL servers. Our first priority when you're a managed service customer is to improve your business continuity plan and protect you from the unexpected. We'll then work on optimizing performance and saving you money. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's session on the Stedman Solutions live streaming. This week I'm going to be talking about all the classes that we offer at Stedman SQL School. Something I've worked on the last few years is putting together a variety of classes that hopefully will be helpful for anyone who wants to learn more about SQL Server. A little bit of news on Stedman Solutions. We have Craig, our VP of Partner Relations and Sales and Marketing, is working on putting together our partner program. We should have that ready to go in just a couple weeks. And so on to our session now. Brought to you live from the Stedman Solutions recording studio at the Stedman Solutions corporate headquarters. So today we're covering what the online courses are that we cover at Stedman Solutions. Years ago, started teaching people in the office, and then it kind of evolved to teaching at conferences, presented at several SQL Pass conventions, also at many SQL Saturdays. Probably did about 20 to 30 different SQL Saturdays over about a 5-year period. And then came the years of the quarantine, and that kind of got doing a bit less of that, and then I realized that with that kind of presentation, you can only share with so many people. So I came up with the idea of taking these things that I present and share and that people have enjoyed and putting them into a short course, or some of them shorter, some of them longer, so that I can share what I know and help people with what they're doing with Microsoft SQL Server. A little bit of background. I've been using Microsoft SQL Server for 34 years. And I've done a lot with it then, and I've helped a lot of people learn over the years. I've created many classes, and these classes are available at stedman.us/school. That's the link to our SQL Server school. And I've also built a program called Database Health Monitor. It's used by thousands of people to help track and maintain and monitor their SQL servers. And I blog regularly at stevestedman.com. Also, I started Stedman Solutions LLC just over 9 years ago, and the company's doing well. We've been growing, moving forward every year with more and more customers. How do you go about getting the classes? Well, you can go to stedman.us/school for more information on the classes, but I just want to point out a couple things, that all the classes are free for our managed service customers, our monthly managed service customers. And what managed services customers are, these are the people who pay us monthly to take care of their SQL servers on an ongoing basis. And those are the customers that they basically get kind of an all-inclusive pass here for everything we do. So if you're a managed service customer and you're listening to this and you want to get access to one of the videos, just let me know, or reach out to Shannon, my assistant, and she can get you a link to any of the classes for free if you're a managed service customer. The other thing you can do is you can purchase them one by one, or you can purchase them as a bundle, and we'll go through that. And the prices on these classes vary from free. Some of them are $5 for a class, and others are up as high as $200, depending on how long the class is, what all is involved, and what's included there. Now, I can remember back to when I was in college, and I thought, oh, I want to get a little bit ahead on the program this year. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take an independent study class over the summer, and it was one of the math classes. And I found out, well, the independent study class was basically, here's the book, do these assignments, and turned in at the end of the quarter. And frankly, I did horrible in that process because there was nothing interactive with it at that point in time. And what I've tried to do in building the classes that we have here is build it out in a way that everything we do is multimedia, interactive, and done in ways that you're going to be able to learn. A lot of what I'll do is I'll go through a video lesson and present a topic, and then maybe I'll present some additional text or information to back up that topic. And then in some of the classes, we have homework assignments where you're assigned to go work on something. We have quizzes included. And basically, it's designed to be fun with a lot of different ways to step through rather than just you go work on it all by yourself. Here's how you step through it. And you can go back and repeat the videos as many times as you want to or need to. And it's just a great way to learn. And along the way, if you get stuck somewhere, you can always just send me an email or reach out and let me know where you're stuck, and I'm happy to jump in and help or figure out what's missing or what we might need to add into that class to help you along. So the first class I want to talk about is the Microsoft Joins Type class. This is a class that evolved from a session that I presented at SQL Saturdays for many years, and it's something that I presented at PASS Summit a couple years ago, a few years ago now, 2016, 2017, something like that. And it's a session that came out of me working in different DBA and development roles, working with people who didn't understand joins. They were trying to do queries, and the problem was their queries weren't working because they didn't know how to properly connect tables. So I built this class on Microsoft SQL Server JOIN Types so that people can learn and understand what the difference is between an inner join or a left outer join or a right outer join or a full outer join, and appropriate use cases of where you might use those. It's one of those things that understanding the data and understanding how the join works can completely change the output that you get. With that, there's also the different outer joins with exclusion options. And then in this class, we'll also dive into more complex join types, such as the semi-join or the anti-semi-join. We have cross joins. We also cover, they're not truly a join type, but they're sort of a join type, is a cross apply and an outer apply. We do some stuff on intersect and accept, things like that, to figure out what are all the right tools or what are all the right pieces that you need to know in order to join data in your relational database in order to get the right results back. With this, there is a downloadable poster that you get, or you can print one out online as well for an additional fee, but the poster kind of gives you a diagram, and I have that poster posted behind my desk, and every time I'm looking at a join that I may not have done recently, or I'm trying to describe to someone how to do the join, I refer back to that poster, and it covers how to connect the data from the different data sources or different tables that you're working with there. This was one of the earliest courses that I worked on, and it's probably the one that I've spent the most time on. Over 10 years of, actually it's more like 14 years now, of preparation and live sessions that went into this one. Next, we have our online course for getting started with SQL Server. Now, this course is intended for someone who may have never used Microsoft SQL Server before. This covers everything from getting SQL Server installed for the first time, getting connected with SQL Server Management Studio, creating an empty database, and maybe querying that first database. It's intended for maybe someone on your team who has been assigned to now go work with SQL Server, but they've never worked with SQL Server before. At the end of this Getting Started with SQL Server course, if you follow all the tutorials, you should end up with SQL Server installed on your local computer, SQL Server Management Studio installed, and the knowledge of how to connect and how to run queries against that local computer. This is a super introductory class, and it's one of those that if you want to get started with SQL Server and you don't know where to go, this is a great place to start. Next, we have our SQL Server Backup and Restore course. And I don't know, I look back and I wish I'd kind of just called it the Restore course, because the thing is, backups are not about running backups. They're about being able to restore when you need to do a restore. And this class came from too many customer leads of people calling up and saying, help, my server crashed, I lost data. And then I asked them, well, what are we doing for backups? Well, we don't have backups, or we thought someone else was doing that, or we had backups running, but the disk got full 8 months ago and we haven't had any backups in that amount of time. So what we cover in this course is how to make sure that you will never be in that position of getting stuck and not being able to have a backup that you can restore in an emergency. The backup course, we cover recovery time objective and recovery point objective, meaning in the event of a system failure, how long is it expected until you get the system running again? And how much data are you willing or accepting to lose in the event of an outage? And we'll also cover how to adjust things or how to fix your system so that you can reduce the recovery point to recover as close to the point of failure and reduce the recovery time so you can recover as quickly as possible. Through this, we cover a combination of full, differential, and log backups, and when are the appropriate cases to use those, and how do you use them in combination with each other. And then the most important thing we cover is restoring. How do you restore your SQL Server databases in the event of emergency? We cover putting together some automated restore scripts so that in the event that you have a failure and you need to do a restore, you're not going out to Google to search and say, how do I do a restore? Instead, you're opening a script that was already created at the time the file was backed up, and you're just uncommenting a few things in there to make it safe, and then running that restore to get your database back up and running again. We also cover backups to Azure, and the same thing would apply in similar to backing up to other cold storage locations like AWS. And with that, the point is, how do you get immutable backups that are in a position that if you're hit with ransomware or something like that, that you have something to go to if everything is destroyed local. And the backups to Azure, I think, is one of the key factors in mitigating the risk associated with ransomware and other things that may target your system like that. We also go through the backup performance and how do we tell how our backups are doing? What kind of things can we do to help increase the speed or improve the overall performance of those backups? It's just really the full comprehensive thing of everything you want to know about backups so that you're not ever having to call us and say, gee, we're stuck and we don't have any backups. If you do get in that position, we're happy to help, but I'd like to do whatever we can to help prevent that. And the backup course is available at stedman.us/backup. That's a direct link to the course. The next course that we offer is the Database Health Monitor course, and it's all about using Database Health Monitor. If you're not familiar with Database Health Monitor, this is an application that I've built over the last 13 years or so, and it's a tool that developers and DBAs and administrators can use to keep track of what's going on with their SQL Server. A way to go and find things that are blocking, find areas that you might be having issues, and to be able to find some of those problem queries and come up with ideas on how to fix them. The Using Database Health Monitor course, not only is it training you how to use Database Health Monitor and how to find some of those performance issues, but it also includes licensing to use Database Health Monitor. Database Health Monitor is a pay application, but when you buy the class, you get that application at no extra charge. And the pricing on the Database Health Monitor class depends on how many licenses for how many SQL servers you want to connect to. That's available at stedman.us/dbhschool. And it's something that we recommend for anyone who's using Database Health Monitor, and it's the best way to get licensing for Database Health Monitor is to purchase the class and just get the licensing along with the class. Our Ransomware Awareness Course is our free course, and it's been put together as a way to do what I can to help push back against those evil people out there who are attacking you with ransomware. This class started out as a subset of our backup and recovery class, And when I was working on the class, I just realized this part is so valuable that I want to be able to give it away for free. I want to do whatever I can, as much as possible, to help you get into a position where hopefully you're never hit with ransomware, but if you are hit with ransomware, that you are aware of what needs to be done with your SQL Server and things you can do ahead of time to prepare to help deal with the risk of that. We've just seen too many people over the years that have been hit with ransomware. We decided to give this away for free, and I've added to it over time, but it's one of those things I would recommend that anybody who's working with SQL Server, unless you've been hit with ransomware and know that you have a plan to cover anything that you'll be hit with in the future, this free course, it's about a half hour to 45 minutes to go through the course, and hopefully it will add some value. And if it prevents one person a week from just not getting impacted by ransomware, it's been worth it to be able to give that one away for free. That's available at stedman.us/ransomware. The next course that we're taking a look at is the SQL Server Performance Tuning course. This is one that I released this year, spent a couple of years working on it, and it's all about what you want to do to help with performance on your Microsoft SQL Server. We cover everything from how to read and use execution plans, to finding blocking queries, weight statistics, different tools for finding out where the problem queries are, strategies with indexing, strategies with sharding, or other high-performance options, and really just everything I could come up with for how to help you make your SQL Server run faster. If you're someone who's responsible for keeping that SQL Server running and you need a little bit more information on how to make your queries run faster, this is a great class for that. If you're someone who wants some additional help, we also offer at Stedman Solutions, we offer SQL Server performance tuning help. But the class is a great way to get started, but also we're happy to jump in and help you with the performance tuning through a performance assessment. Now, the performance class is available at stedman.us/performance-class, or for everyone who attends this link, I'm offering a 50% off coupon on the class. 50% off. To use that coupon, you go to stedman.us/perf50, PERF50, and that will get you a link directly to the class with the 50% discount already applied. I hope that you take advantage of that and that you learn something from the SQL Server Performance class. Next is our Common Table Expressions class. Several years ago, I wrote a book on SQL Server Common Table Expressions. It was published somewhere around 2012, I think. And then, of course, the publisher had some issues and they went out of business at that point. So I got the rights to the book back. I ended up republishing the book as an ebook that's available, and then taking a lot of the content that's in the book and putting it into this Common Table Expressions book class. And this class, if you're not familiar with CTEs, or even if you are really familiar with them, there's something you're probably going to learn. It'll cover the basics. We'll cover hierarchical queries, recursive queries, performance considerations. We'll walk through a number of math examples and different ways of using CTEs to do some really interesting things in your SQL queries. I think once you really master Common Table Expressions, it's something that you're going to use probably every day if you're frequently writing queries. So this class has a lot of content there, and with that you also get the ebook as a free download. It's just a great place to start on helping strengthen your SQL query abilities. And that's available at stedman.us/CTE-class. The next class that I wanted to talk about, there's a couple here I'm going to talk about that are in our SQL Short category. The SQL Shorts are training classes that are an hour or less of content, and they're really focused courses on doing specific things in writing queries in SQL Server. The first one is on aggregating data. It's one of those that it is a $5 class. There's a lot of information in there around how to aggregate data using windowing functions with the over clause, and really to give someone who may not know how to aggregate data very well a really good foundation on grouping and windowing functions. The second class that we offer in the SQL Short series, also a $5 class, is called Using the T-SQL Output Clause. Again, this is a short class. It's less than an hour, but it covers a unique thing in SQL Server, which is the output clause. And if you're not familiar with the output clause on inserts, updates, and deletes, it's a really useful tool. This is one of those things that even if you've been using SQL Server for 20 years, if you're not familiar with the output clause, it's something you should learn because there's some really great use cases. The output clause is one of those things that whenever I use it on a query when I'm working with a client, I always get the, ooh, what's that kind of response? And then followed by, wow, that's really interesting. So if you've ever been through the process of deleting data where you grab a bunch of rows, you throw them into a temp table, and then you delete all the rows that match that temp table, that's an example of 3 queries to go through the process of doing that. And then you've got the list that was deleted so you can do something with it. Well, with the output clause, you can do things like delete from a table and have it display in a result grid all of the rows that were just deleted. So rather than just running a delete statement and seeing 17 rows deleted, well, it'll come back and it'll show you what those rows that were deleted are. And at $5, it's a great value, probably one of the best values out of all of the classes if you're not familiar with the output clause. And that's available at stedman.us/output. The next course we have is on preparing for corruption on SQL Server. And this is one of those things, since I started Stedman Solutions 9 years ago, we've done a whole lot of corruption repair in SQL Server. And gosh, it was 2015, I think, we did the Database Corruption Challenge, which is where I put together a series of 10 corrupt databases and threw them out to the community in a way that you could download them and compete based on time on how to repair a corrupt database. And I've met a lot of people in that corruption challenge who are really good at repairing database corruption. But then I thought, well, why don't we take this and put it into a class where you can get access to all these corrupt databases and also get access to information on what I did to repair them. The best way to take this class on is to take a look at the example, take a look at the corrupt database, attempt to fix it yourself, and then look at my solution on how I went about fixing it. And then if you didn't get it on your own, repeat that until you really understand how to fix that corrupt database. There's about 10 different corrupt databases available here in this class that you can download and work through. And it's one of those things that corruption can take your database out. If you don't have good backups, you better make sure you've got a good plan on repairing corruption on SQL Server, because repairing that corruption may be your only option, or calling us to help repair it. So that class is available at stedman.us/corruption. And there's a lot of content from the corruption challenge and additional information on how you can repair your corrupt databases. All right. This one, the developer and DBA interview questions class, built this about a year ago, and this was a lot of fun. We always talk to people ask questions, and I don't know, I've done a lot of interviewing over the years, and I've been interviewed quite a bit over the years, and there's questions that people ask on the interviews. If you're interviewing for a developer or a DBA position, there's probably about a dozen questions that someone who knows what they're doing is probably going to ask you, and being able to answer those will probably cover like 90% of the technical part of what's on that interview. With this, we have over 25 common SQL Server questions included. And I say over 25. Well, technically right now the number is 26, but it's something that I continually add to. Who knows? Next week I may come up with one that I want to add to it, and it might be 30 by the end of the year. So when I add that content, there's no extra charge to you. Once you purchase the class, even when I add new information in there, that's available for you to be able to watch and learn from. With all of these interview questions, I take an approach of how do we solve that, or what is the answer you would provide. And I kind of provide a 3-phase approach. Here's kind of the basic quick answer of if you read a high-level cheat sheet that just says this is what it is. Like if someone, well, I don't know, there's a lot of different examples there, but it's kind of the basic quick answer that someone that's maybe a year or two into SQL Server programming may answer it. I also provide the pro answer, which is more detail, where someone that maybe 10 years of SQL Server experience may be able to answer it. And then I'll give the expert answer, where someone with 20 or more years of experience may have a lot more information on what this really means, how it works. And with the combination of these three, that gives you what you need in order to be able to understand the different depths and the different ways to answer these common interview questions. So if you're out looking for a job, or if you're the hiring manager out there looking to hire a developer or a DBA, either side of the table on that can use this class in order to improve their interview process, either as the interviewer or the candidate. And this one, I don't know, I just had a lot of fun making this one, so that was a pretty fun class to do. The next class I have is on SQL Server replication. And SQL Server replication is one of those things that a lot of developers and DBAs love when they first read about it, because they think, ooh, this is cool. I like these ideas. I want to try and use it. And then they try and use it and find out, oh, this is kind of a pain. It's not super well documented, and there's a lot of issues that people have with permissions and other things when they try and do SQL Server replication. In this class, I cover hopefully everything you need to know, from getting replication set up on your SQL Server, walk through a bunch of examples on setting up snapshot replication, walk through a bunch of examples on setting up transactional replication, merge replication, troubleshooting, common use cases, and really the goal here, I do a ton with SQL Server replication because I know it. It's something I've learned over the years, and I got pretty good at it, and I work with a lot of clients on it. But I wanted to be able to share that and make it so that if you want to learn about replication, this is the place to go to get started with any of these different replication types on SQL Server. Or if you've tried SQL Server replication in the past and had headaches with it, well, this is a good place to go to figure out why those headaches happened and what you can do to prevent it in the future. This class I'm offering also at a 50% discount for anyone who attended this session. And that class is available at stedman.us/replication or stedman.us/replication50 if you want the 50% off coupon automatically applied. Then we have the Everything Bundle. So if you like what I'm showing here and you want access to all of these classes at one fee, and you want access to that, all of the future classes that I do, well, the Everything Bundle is for you. With that, you get access to all the classes. You get access to all of my classes, of course, except for those that include coaching or any kind of hourly work on my part. So basically, it's one price for all of the online classes, including Database Health Monitor and including Database Health Monitor licensing for up to 20 SQL Server connections. The nice thing about this is if you buy the Everything Bundle today, you're locked in. If I add 5 more classes over the next year, you get those without any extra charge. That's just included in the bundle. And that's available at stedman.us/everything. And that brings us to how do I get the classes? And this is kind of a recap of one of the things that we covered in the very beginning. But there's really 3 ways to get access to the classes. 1, if you're a managed service customer, we're taking care of your systems on a monthly basis for you. You can have access to any of these classes at no charge. You can purchase the classes one by one, and those are available at stedman.us/school. Go in and pick the free class on ransomware, pick one of the $5 short classes, or one of our other classes, and try it out. Pick one, learn what you can, finish it, and go on and do the next one. Then we also have the Everything Bundle. The Everything Bundle is a way to say, just give me all the classes like we just talked about, and that's available at stedman.us/everything. All right then, if there's no other questions, I think we'll wrap it up at this point. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching our video. I'm Steve, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Please click the thumbs up if you liked it, and if you want more information, more videos like this, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you can get notified of future videos that we create.